afternoon and welcome to 11 Alive News at 4 on this Monday. I'm Jonathan Martin.
And I'm Jennifer Bellamy in for Faith Jesse tonight. First at 4, thousands of people forced to evacuate and shelter in place after a large chemical fire broke out Sunday at a lab in Conyers.
All right, right now, take a look at your screen. This is video from our 11 Alive Sky Tracker of the biolab facility. Again, this is in Conyers. You can see that smoke really going for miles. We've gotten so many reports of people not only seeing but smelling the effects of that today as well. Well, following Sunday's chemical fire in Rockdale County, people next door in Gwinnett County say they woke up to haze and a strong odor today. Viewers also telling us here at 11 Alive that they were unable to go outside for most of the morning. 11 Alive's Karis Belger starts our coverage today. She's at the Gwinnett County Operations Center right now with answers. Karis, a lot we still don't know, but what can you tell us at this hour?
Well, Gwinnett County officials say there was a bit of a haze and a strong chlorine smell in the atmosphere, but mostly that went away earlier this afternoon. But we did hear from quite a few people who live in the area who say they were concerned. And as you mentioned, they also said they could not leave their homes. Just a few hours ago, Gwinnett County officials said they had been running tests with mobile monitors and they did not pick up anything of concern. Now, take a look at this picture viewers sent to 11 Alive. Kim Ostrenko, who lives in Gwinnett, in Lawrenceville specifically, took this photo around 9 this morning. She told me she could not see her mailbox from the top of her driveway, and she immediately brought her dog inside due to the haze and the strong smell of chlorine in the air. Now, Gwinnett County fire officials say they have had teams monitoring the situation and the direction of the smoke that was seen leaving Conyers earlier. That was since the first fire happened. Right now, they say most of the concerns are for cities in the area immediately surrounding Conyers and less so for the other surrounding counties like Gwinnett. Now, during a press conference a couple of hours ago, officials said they have not seen test results in Gwinnett County that would cause serious alarm, but they will continue to monitor the situation in the event that changes.
All right, right now we are going to go from Karis Belger to a live news conference right out of Rockdale County where officials are updating the situation on the chemical plume.
It's happening at Johnson Park. Let's listen in right now.
We have the mayor of the city of Conyers, Vince Evans. We have representatives here from the sheriff's office and the city manager. At this time, we will hear from our fire chief.
Good afternoon. My name is Marion McDaniel, and I am the fire chief of Rockdale County Fire Rescue. At approximately 5:19 yesterday morning, Rockdale County Fire Rescue Engine 7 responded to 1700 Covington Highway on an alarm bell ringing. Upon arrival, they observed a fire on the roof area, which had activated the system, the sprinkler system. Stored in that building is a water-reactive chemical, which brings us to the major incident we have been facing for the past 2 days. Once the water made contact with that chemical, we have the plume that you've seen for the past 2 days. There was a fire. The fire was brought under containment around 10:30. After the fire was contained, the water was secure. We started to remove the product from the facility, at which time there was a rekindle of the fire. That occurred approximately 12:30 yesterday afternoon. Took us about 3.5, 4 hours to get that fire under control, and after which point in time, we started trying to remove the debris. During the course of the fire, the roof collapsed. Several of the interior walls collapsed, which caused another problem for us. However, as we come into the day, I want to reiterate there have been reports of a fire. There has not been an active fire at the site since yesterday when it was contained at 4 o'clock. However, today what we have been doing is working through the debris with bulldozers, moving the debris so we can get to the product. The hot zone of the area, the primary area, is the far end of the building where the product was stored. All walls, all areas around that have been knocked down, and we're working through getting to the product so we can secure it stored. I would like to add that yesterday in the process, we did start offloading some of the product. That product has been stored in a shack on the property, secure and away from harm. So that is where we are. We're still mitigating to it. There's no fire. We're working through the debris, and once we get all the debris out the way, we can offload the product.
Good evening. I'm Sharon Webb, Director of EMA for Rockdale County. In reference to what Chief McDaniel said, for EMA, we have been monitoring the situation, and as of yesterday, with the air products that were being released, it was in best interest for the citizens that we put a mandatory evacuation within a vicinity of Old Town Conyers, as well as a shelter in place for the north side of the county. As the day progressed, and the plume started to get bigger, it was advised that we needed to put a shelter in place for the entire Rockdale County, which went into effect about midnight last night. Throughout the night, we monitored the situation, and during that time, I-20 had been closed, as well as numerous county roads within the Rockdale County. As of this morning, about 7 o'clock, I-20 was open, and SO started working to eliminate some of the road closures that we had throughout the county. Throughout the day, we have been monitoring the situation, getting reports from EPD, and as of now, we have been working with EPA to give us an overall air quality for what we need for Rockdale County. And I will bring up Brian Vassar now to report.
Good afternoon. I'm Brian Vassar. I'm an on-scene coordinator with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. Yesterday morning, EPA was notified of the fire at the facility here. And EPA was requested to respond to support local and state resources, primarily with air monitoring. So EPA mobilized in resources to conduct air monitoring in kind of the immediate area of the facility. We've been kind of three-tiered air monitoring. We're doing air monitoring on site to protect personnel. We're doing air monitoring in the current evacuation zone, and then we've extended air monitoring beyond the evacuation zone to determine if it's appropriate, if the current evacuation zone or shelter in places are appropriate. We've been working with the county and state to provide data. We expect to have a report later today that will summarize the past 12 hours worth of data for the county to be able to review and make a determination on shelter in place or evacuation moving forward.
Brian, can you share any of the data that you currently have in regards to the numbers?
Yeah, so I can share the first 12 hours worth of data that we had because I've been able to review that. During that time, we didn't see any concentrations of chemicals of concern. The primary chemicals that we are concerned about or monitoring for is chlorine and hydrochloric acid. We didn't see concentrations of those chemicals in the air that would exceed an action level for us, or that would advise, or that would seem unsafe to the public.
And so with that, we will be monitoring the situation at EPA and giving a follow-up in the next coming times, probably 3 hours from now, we'll give another update.
So can I just clarify, so the shelter in place and the evacuation orders are still active?
Those are still in effect, yes.
Do we know when the plume and that smoke is going to be controlled? Is there like a timeline of controlling that? I think that's where the misconception is, that people still think that there's a fire, but there's not.
Well, there's white smoke.
Yeah.
So that smoke is a product of the water and the water reactive chemical. Once we can get that stored securely, that's going to go away. As far as a specific timeline, then no, it's just going to be time. But we are working through it. Once we can get it secure, things will start to look better for us.
Can we just get an update on how your first responders are doing? I know a couple of them might have been hospitalized.
So no, to the best of my knowledge, and I'm the fire chief, so no one has been hospitalized, but thank you for asking. But all Rockdale County Fire Rescue personnel are doing great. Thank you.
And then just to clarify, you guys are working to basically entirely flatten the building, is that right, from the remaining walls that are standing?
So there's a company on site doing that. We are there just to monitor to make sure that there is no rekindle or anything that requires our action. But there is a company that's actually moving the heavy equipment and doing all of the cleanup.
But there's not going to be any part of the building standing when this is all
I would imagine not. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, so you've been listening into Rockdale County officials as well as the EPA giving us an update on the biolab fire and all of the smoke that so many of you have been really concerned about throughout the day.
Right, and we just heard from officials that the evacuation and shelter in place do remain in effect. They are continuing, Jennifer, to monitor the air, not only in the evacuation zone, but there at the plant. And they say they expect to have a report later today to determine whether that evacuation and shelter in place is needed. But again, for now, it is staying in place.
Right now, and we also heard from the EPA saying that it seems that there is no concentration of chemicals of concern that exceed an action level or that should seem unsafe. At least that's what they're believing right now based on initial data that they have collected for about the first 12 hours of this situation unfolding. And a bit of good news, the fire chief there saying that none of the fire personnel have been hospitalized or impacted as a result of this. We're expecting an update, they say, in about 3 hours. So we'll, of course, continue to bring you the very latest information here.
That's right. And right now, their biggest thing they're doing, they told us, is working to remove that water reactive chemical from the facility. They've been doing that for the last, I guess, day or so, they said, with the bulldozers. So continuing to work there, but also continuing to monitor the air quality to make sure this is safe, because we know so many of our viewers have been having a lot of concerns and questions.
And this is certainly an ongoing situation. We want to go now to our Grace, our reporter Grace out there, who has more information for us. Grace, what can you tell us?
Well, I spent the day digging through safety records to see what kind of violations this company's past has, and it reveals a pattern of problems. In fact, it shows things like exposure to toxic chemicals and a lack of training and precautions. The neighbors I spoke with say something with that safety history doesn't belong in Conyers.
We were moved out of there pretty quick.
In 2004, a massive fire at the biolab plant in Conyers prompted road closures, evacuations, and safety concerns.
A shift in wind may cause trouble for DeKalb County.
Rockdale County has reported several fires since.
One time, okay, we get it.
Right.
But the second, third time, at what point do the officials say, wait, we have a problem for our community here?
Andre and Cherie Kellogg live about 6 miles from the biolab plant. We spoke with them virtually about their concerns as they shelter in place.
This is serious and could impact the entire metro Atlanta area.
Records show the safety problems extend to workers too. In the last 20 years, OSHA cited Biolab 18 times for violating federal safety standards. In one instance, a chemical production operator received burns to the hand and thigh from sodium hydroxide. Another incident exposed employees to chemicals such as pool sanitizer and chlorinating tablets in 2017. The week before, an employee lost 2 fingers when they got caught in the machinery. The Kellogg's say that's unacceptable.
Why would our local officials be okay with that type of a scorecard? None of us can go to our regular full-time jobs and have multiple offenses and still have a job.
That is correct.
It's not okay.
And in a statement this morning, Kit Consumer Products said its top priority is ensuring the community's safety. They own Biolab, but did not respond to any of my questions about the Kellogg's concerns or their safety history. Live in East Atlanta, Grace King, 11 Alive News.
All right, Grace, some eye-opening information there. Thank you so much. And for the newest updates in this ongoing investigation, text the words chemical fire to the number here on your screen. It's 404-885-7600. We will send you a link to our coverage, plus the response from neighboring counties about what they are doing and experiencing as well. We'll be right back.